look very broadly. We look at the local markets. We look at the international perspective of those markets. We talk to our competition and investigate the growth of our competition. We look at our tenants and their needs. And we also talk to the brokers. And taking all of that into consideration, then we evaluate in which country to focus on and for that particular moment of time. For right now, we find that a good time is for Poland, and the whole investment of the whole group comes to Poland. But it varies. It varies, and we look at all the markets. We keep our liquidity because we are reinvesting this money into the portfolio, which immediately start working and then bringing additional cash flow to our businesses. The main idea is to keep the retention on keep our tenants constantly engaged and happy, understanding what their needs are, so we can provide them the space which is going to be immediately rented for them, where we can generate the cash flow as we are developer and asset holder. So our cash flow comes from renting the space. If we rent more, then we have more cash flow to spend. And that's making sure always to understanding the industry, what are the needs of our tenants. And here we're talking about the e-commerce tenants. For right now, we've been having a discussion over here, a very interesting discussion on the panel with the retailers. And what they're finding that right now there is a need for a different type of a smaller capacity of the retail shops. But if there are smaller retail shops, then they're going to need a bigger space, distribution centers. So then there is a need for distribution centers and a growth in this area. We see also in this recession timing, global recession times, that some of our industrial clients, they are looking for, can they expand the locations in Poland because it's going to be more cost effective for them than keeping the production, let's say, in other Western European countries. So we can benefit, being in CEE countries, from this kind of move and on the global view of the market. ESG, it's embedded in CTP. We have some of our financing comes from the green bonds as well. And for us, ESG, it's the norm. It's going to be the standard. Well, in this panel, we had one of the last panels, we had an interesting conversation on that because every one of us is seeing the need to invest in green solutions, in energy efficient buildings, in PV panels, and the green energy on community building. But this is coming from the tenants who have their needs, and their need comes from the consumption needs, from their employees, from the market. And will it be something extra in 10 years? Probably it's going to be a norm. But because we're holding our assets and we are not selling them, we're keeping them in our portfolio for 10, 20 years, we have to look for what is needed for us to keep having Class A buildings, not only today, but in 10, 20 years. And this is investment in ESG. And that's one. The second element is also the reporting. The European Union has set up the reporting purposes of the ESG solutions. And now all of us, it has to be transparent. So you cannot say you have a PV panel if your roof can produce 50 kilowatts. If you have a PV panels, if you have 10,000 square meters of the logistics space, and it produces 1 million or 1 megawatts. And now it's going to be transparent and visible, and we invest in this, and we believe that our tenants are going to be will be benefiting from that investment. One trend which is very visible, it also comes from the logistics tenants of ours, is that automatizations of the warehouses. And that's where we can support our tenants and really help them invest in these locations. The buildings are getting more sophisticated. It's not just the box, it's box with all the insights. Investment in the ESG heat pumps. It's maybe I shouldn't say ESG, investment in, again, energy efficient solutions. So good isolations, completely different panels which provide the transparent light coming inside, which allows then, which provides a better workspace for the employees. Heat pumps which are connected with the power energy, so it is energy efficient. Materials which are producing less CO2, which gonna be a solution. And maybe today it's not something which we value yet, but this is definitively element which gonna gives us additional points for our ESG transparency in the coming years. And these are the investments in the technology surrounded the building, which we have to, a big component. Are we ready for EV chargers? Do we have a battery charging stations? When the car is going to be electrical, are we talking about only individual cars, or are we talking about the trucks, electric trucks? And if we're talking about the electric trucks, do we have a charger and a petrol station next to that? And if the chargers are the chargers connected to the docking stations? And these are the elements where we look into this, identify, and try to invest to be ahead of something which is going to come soon. The event was great. What I love about this is that I'm meeting here with the people who have very deep understanding of the markets, local markets, and sharing the perspective and exchange of information, what we think and how we see the future. It's fantastic. And people open themselves. The discussions are not one-sided. There's different opinions. Today we have a couple of arguments, and that's beautiful that people can be open, and we all in the same boat. We're all trying over here to do our business, and if we can at the same time help each other to foresee the future, fantastic.